And here's the field coming out of turn number 4. Rhodes Gray in the number 30 Chevrolet and Jeff Bolton in the number 10 Pontiac are leading the field down to take the green flag. The pace car is off. 42 cars are here to take the green flag. It is out. We are racing here at Daytona for the first round of the Right Lane Cup Series. The leaders take the green flag. We are underway at Daytona. Already onto the back straightaway for the first time today. Gray and Bolton are side by side coming down the back straightaway. Bolton is looking to take the lead away from Rhodes Gray, the pole sitter, and he might. They're side by side in the turn number 3, 2 and 3 wide, looking 4 wide back through the field, as the leaders are still side by side coming out of turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Remember, if you lead a point here in the Right Lane Cup Series, you get a bonus point. If you lead the most laps, you get 2 bonus points added onto that. Bolton led that lap that time. Gray barely missed out by 600ths, and Jeff Bolton is leading the field here in the first round at Daytona. His teammate Landon Thomas in the M&M's Pontiac right at the bottom of your screen started deep in the field. Has Jeffrey Finguy with him. Finguy had a strong car as well. As we come down the back straightaway, look at the field, 2 and 3 wide, many rows deep going into turn number 3. Landon Thomas, that he was your Duel 2 winner in an exciting fight with RJ Bishop at the end. He is now leading this outside group as Bolton tries to block the middle. Jeff Bolton will now lead lap number 2 as well. Thomas looking back to the outside with RJ Bishop, Stanley Andrews in the 46, and Zachary Fitzwater in the 59. Single file as Landon Thomas looks underneath Jeff Bolton. He wants to lead a lap here early, get bonus points. In such a young season, getting laps, especially here at Daytona, where it is so easy to move forward and backwards and get those bonus points, it can make or break a season. Just a few points here and there, but Bolton is holding strong against Thomas. He's got a massive run down the back straightaway heading into turn number 3. Thomas still is able to hold strong. I'm interested to see what Landon Thomas will do coming out of turn number 4. He's going to go underneath Landon Thomas, put Thomas 3 wide along with his Thomas' teammate Bolton. Side by side, Bolton leads that lap again, squeezed Landon Thomas down. Henry Thomas, the other Thomas in the field, is in that M&M's Pontiac. Bolton is looking down to the middle. He might go down and pick up his teammate. That is Henry Thomas. Thomas now with a head of steam coming onto the back straightaway. He is trying to lead middle line. He could not move the middle line up. Now Thomas is going to get out side by side with RJ Bishop. Thomas is going to fall into the middle line. Jeffrey Finguy in the Nintendo car for his own team. That car was really fast in the duels, really fast in practice. And that car backed really well in the draft. We're going to see what he's able to do. But up front is going to be another Jeff Bolton lap lead. That's 4 so far. We are on lap number 5 already. I think we have some issues in the back. We do have some issues in the back. That is Ben McDonald. McDonald, slow. We hear he had a tire go down. That is true. Ben McDonald blew a left rear tire. He is coasting onto the apron of the racetrack. What a tough break. Ben McDonald could not have anything go his way in his duel. And now it looks like he is slowing. He is going to have a really long crawl back to the pit lane up front here. That separated a few cars from the back, but so far most of the field is still in this draft. You see Lane Sanders, the 31, that is Justin Henley back there. But up front, RJ Bishop made a run at Jeff Bolton. Was not able to, but Henry Thomas is now in line with his teammate. He's going to go around the Kroger Ford. That is the Bishop family-owned car. No, he's not. Here comes RJ Bishop. He's going to take the lead coming down to the back straightaway. RJ Bishop leads. He has Henry Thomas with him. No, he doesn't, because Thomas moves in the middle. Stanley Andrews moves to the middle line with him. And they're 3 wide once again for the lead here at Daytona. 2 MB2 Motorsports cars, and then the Bishop family car of Bishop in the middle. Coming out of turn number 4 again, it looks like Henry Thomas might get a lap lead, unless his teammate says anything about it. Coming back to the line, it is going to be close, really close. It was, oh my lord, Bolton by inches that time. Now, if I were the team owner of MB2, I would be kindly concerned. Probably telling Bolton, hey, maybe try to get Thomas a lap lead as well, you know? Because as a team owner, you have to think for all of your cars. Because you do not want, you do not want just one car. It is nice to have one car lead all the laps, but in a case like Daytona, a little give or take here and there, you would really like to have all your cars get bonus points. Especially how easy it is here, as I said, to lead laps. Some cars have caught up to the draft that lost it. Sanford, Sanders, Henley, and Vargas. Meanwhile, Bolton leads a 7th lap today. Bolton might be in contention to lead the most laps as he is playing lanes. He leaves Zachary Fitzwater to go down and block Bishop. He might go down to the bottom and pick up Henry Thomas. These MB2 cars have been really fast here at Daytona. I would say that they have a really stout super speedway program. Their third car, I believe, Alexander Phoenix. We think he is somewhere in the 30s, around the 30th position right now. But up front, we have 2 of his cars leading up front. I'm sure Phoenix will be very proud of that. Bolton blocking lanes. He comes down to the middle to block Bishop. He's going to lead an 8th lap of this event. I cannot believe that Jeff Bolton is able to hold on to the lead so far. Rhodes Gray, your pole sitter, is falling back there. He's falling back. There he is. Rhodes Gray is currently in the 7th position, running really well, trying to stay up front. Almost got a bonus point of his own. But as we said, Bolton picked it up on lap 1 and is continuing to add to his lap total. And for as how easy it is to take the lead here at Daytona, it is probably for the best that Bolton is able to get all these bonus points, because he could get shuffled back late in the race but still get these bonus points. Stanley Andrews in the number 46, he has Mac Johnson and Nicky Martinez as teammates, but they are nowhere to be seen. And in the race like Daytona and Talladega, it is good to have friends wherever you can find them. In this case, it is whoever is behind you in line. In Andrew's case, it's Bishop, Fitzwater, Austin Scott, and Luke Evans, amongst several other cars on the high line. But meanwhile, Bolton has led his 9th lap of the day. 10's coming this time by. If he's able to keep it, it'll be his 10th lap of the race so far. And Bolton coming out of turn number 4, trying to complete lap number 10. He's trying to block all 3 lines, and he is going to hold on. That is 10 laps led for Jeff Bolton. 10 laps done here at the Right Lane Cup Series Round 1 at Daytona. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
Welcome back to the Right Lane Cup Series first round here at Daytona. 13 laps down as we are on the back straightaway. Jeff Bolton continues to lead, and we are still green flag racing. But here comes Rhodes Gray again. The McAllister's Deli Chevrolet fighting hard to get a lap lead. Before we went to commercial break, because we're going 4 wide here, almost, that was Jeffrey Finguy almost getting put sideways. There he was. Charles Sanford had to make it back to pit road. He had a tire go down on him as well. A right front blew on the Busch Beer Toyota Camry. A second tire failure here at Daytona in the first 15 laps. That is mildly concerning. Sanford reported he might have had some contact when McDonald blew his tire, and it finally cut that car down. The first lead change all day, it is Rhodes Gray, the pole sitter, finally passed Jeff Bolton and got a lap lead. That is going to be crucial for Gray, as he is going to get a lap lead bonus. But looking down on the inside, here comes Landon Thomas, your Duel 2 winner, fighting hard to get a lap led. Bolton has no help on the outside. Thomas has a shorter way around the track. Let's see who is going to lead it this time. Bolton led that time, beat Thomas by 200ths. Jeff Bolton has had a really strong piece of equipment. That Valvoline Pontiac is on fire, but now he is starting to drift back as Bishop has fallen off his rear bumper. That is going to allow Rhodes Gray and Landon Thomas to get by Jeff Bolton. Thomas to the inside. He's going to get past Gray. Gray holds the lead right now. If Gray can, he might want to clear up on Bolton coming out of turn number 4. Thomas tried moving up a tad. It's not going to help him. And coming back to the line, it is going to be a tight squeeze. Wow, what a finish to that lap. That was Landon Thomas by less than 100th of a second. 100th of a second to Jeff Bolton. Imagine if that had been the finish to this race. And that might be what we have in store with how these cars are racing. Really competitive race here at Daytona. Really aggressive. Bolton is able to get back out to the lead barely over Landon Thomas. Thomas is going to get a run back into turn number 3. Oh, whoa, that's Austin Scott in the fence. Cody Goforth as well gets into a scrape. Thomas Goforth is still in the fence, holding several cars up. What a mess going into turn 3 and 4 up front. But up front, it looks as if the leaders, this is about the main pack that we have left. Right, Bolt is all on his lonesome. Lost all of his help in that outside scuffle. That's going to allow both Rhodes Gray and Landon Thomas to pull away. Jeffrey Finguy comes onto the scene. There's Ben McDonald's damaged race car. Tom McDonald, if you recall, around lap 3 had that tire go down. But this is not what Jeff Bolton wanted to see. He is now stuck behind Rhodes Gray. That's going to allow Finguy to pull to the inside, try to get a lap led. That is going to allow Peter Onjak to come onto the scene. And we got to be careful. These guys have to be careful in what they do, because here's Finguy getting put 4 wide. That's not going to be good. That's contact. Landon Thomas around into the field. Several cars involved. It's Dunlop Prad. The 29 car, that's Mitchell Carter. Luke Evans sideways. Martinez missed it. Griffin Lapel McDermott almost hit them. Ryan Griffin is around as well, and the caution flag is out. Several cars collide on the front straightaway. Violence coming on to complete lap number 17. Where are the leaders? There they are. Bolton has gotten the lead back. Unbelievable. Stanley Andrews is on the scene. Rhodes Gray, that is Ben McDonald, the lap car. Julio Caesar, the 75, the dual 1 winner is here. Landon Thomas, Bolton's teammate, as well as R.J. Bishop coming down to the line. That is going to be Andrews is putting up a fight, but Jeff Bolton will take the caution flag here on lap number 18. Several cars sideways here on the front straightaway. Finguy was in it, as was Landon Thomas. I wonder where they are. Let's see if we can find some of them back here. Alexander Phoenix, Evan Marisi. There's Dunlop Prad's car, the Traxxas Pontiac, for the Spa team. They are heavy damage on that car. You have Charles Sanford had just gotten back on the racetrack. There's Mitchell Carter, the second Finguy car. Their teammate, Griffin Lapel McDermott, almost got in that wreck as well. There is Landon Thomas and Jeffrey Finguy, the 2 cars that started this incident. There's Ryan Griffin as well. And the caution flag is out, and we are going to try to get a replay and see what happened here at Daytona. Well, coming out of turn number 4, it looks as if Jeffrey Finguy had been put 4 wide. He and Onjak made contact, and Landon Thomas slid straight back into the field. Absolutely nowhere to go. There is Luke Evans over there. And Griffin Lapel McDermott almost got in that wreck, trying to avoid. There's Ryan Griffin sideways, coming through the grass. Griffin might have just simply spun to make it through that wreck. But that was absolutely not a good turn of events for the Finguy Busami cars. Another look at it coming through the trial void. It looks like there wasn't even any contact between Onjak and Jeffrey Finguy. You saw Fitzwater get pinned in the fence. And imagine how close how big this wreck would have been had the field not been split up when Austin Scott and the two got in the wall. This could have been a really big crash, but thankfully it only took about 6 or 7 cars out of the race. Running on board with Peter Onjak in the Aero Dodge, you see right here. Ooh. Got hit in the left rear, it looked like, but he kept on going. Got really lucky in that turn of events. Here's Ryan Griffin's view in the Little Caesars Chevrolet. He got through it, simply got spun around at a 360 and is on his way. Griffin had very little damage. As you see, he's going through the grass. He had very little damage in that crash. We'll get you back to the main event here shortly.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
Pit stops here at Daytona. Jeff Bolton in the Valvoline Pontiac brings them down under caution for the first time today after several cars collided on the front straightaway. After 4 wide through the tri-oval, we see several cars making pit stops. That's Justin Henley's in there. That's Angel Gutierrez, the 58. The 24 car, that is Samuel England. Lane Sanders just completed his stop. He made contact with the 15. That was Taylor Gray in the 15 car. That was the other Onjado car, Dodge. First caution out here at Daytona. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to Daytona. Caution is out after several cars collided and slid into each other on the front straightaway, but we are coming back to green. Jeff Bolt retained his lead over Stanley Andrews through that round of pit stops. Julio Cesar in the 75 runs third. Lane Sanders in the Domino's car for Sanders Performance Autosport is fourth, and we are back under green. The green flag is back out as Bolton gets away quickly. As we go back to turn number 1, Lane Sanders making a charge. He had a good restart from Henry Thomas as well as they go 3 wide in the turn number 1. But meanwhile, Bolton is under attack from Ben McDonald trying to get a lap back. Here comes Charles Sanford as well. Sanford and Ben are both several laps down after having to pit with flat tires. Bolton trying to run away, but don't look now. Lane Sanders is on the charge with Henry Thomas. That is Bolton's teammate. They're going to follow the lap cars of Sanford and Ben McDonald through, and Sanders is going to take the lead. Sanders, I would be concerned about Sanders, though, as he had contact under that previous caution on pit road. Taylor Frey in the 15 car for Onjado had collided with Sanders on pit road, but Lane Sanders leads here at Daytona over Henry Thomas and Julio Cesar in the 75. Sanders getting a good bonus point here. Thomas trying to get a bonus point. I don't think Thomas has even got a bonus point all day because his teammate Jeff Bolton has led all the laps. Meanwhile, Sanders moves to the top. Thomas moves all the way to the apron. I wonder what that deal is. Caesar comes up the middle. He's going to have Logan Cloud with him in that lake effect car. Cloud had, I believe, Luke Evans, his teammate in the 43, was in that crash. There's Onjado's owner, Peter Onjak, on the apron with Angel Gutierrez in the Jeff Bolton owned car, because Bolton is now on the outside. Sanders is trying to block as many lanes as he can. But I don't know how long this is going to last, because Sanders could very easily get shuffled out. It might happen here, because Sanders is only help our lap cars right now, and Thomas pulls to his inside, side by side for the lead down the back straightaway here at Daytona. It's going to be Sanders, it's going to be Thomas, and it's going to be Peter Onjak in the 5. What a move by the Aero Dodge Charger after being barely in that first crash on lap number 17. Peter Onjak is going to go straight for the lead. And oh my goodness, look at this. Angel Gutierrez as well in the 58, the Dunkin' Donuts Ford. Onjak led that time. Here comes Angel Gutierrez trying to make the passes as well with Mac Johnson and Asher Eveland on the scene. That's Daniel Voles as well in the 44. A lot of these cars were riding around in the back. In fact, several of these cars on the low side, I'm looking at your Asher Evelands and your Daniel Voles, they had to go to the rear for several infractions. But they're all up here now. And here is Angel Gutierrez. He's going to go for the lead. Look at this. Justin Henley. What is up with Henley? Henley's going to hold up the field. What? I cannot believe what has happened. Henley apparently had a cylinder go down. He's been running on he's running on 7 cylinders for several laps. And what a turn of events. This is going to absolutely mess the field up, as he's going to hold up Angel Gutierrez, who had barely just gotten up front. Mac Johnson is your leader now, but this is absolutely not what some of these cars wanted to see. Not your Gutierrez, not Lane Sanders either, but up front, these three have gotten away. That's Mac Johnson, Peter Onjak, and Asher Eveland. Vince Freeze is going to have to mount a charge with Daniel Voles, with Griffin Lapel McDermott, and with R.J. Bishop. GLM, as we'll call him, has had several close calls today. His biggest one was barely getting through that first crash on lap 17 by inches. Back here we have Henry Thomas got through that, as did Julio Caesar. KJ Hayes in the 55, he barely got through it. The 24 car barely got through it. That's Samuel England. Back here, where is the 31? There's the 31 holding up Christian Vargas and Angel Gutierrez. The one good thing about this, though, a lot of cars got stuck behind. I believe they missed the draft on the restart, and this will bring them all back into the same pack. But this has been really bad for Gutierrez, for Christian Vargas, Lane Sanders. He lost many spots as well. But these cars are all in the draft now of the leaders. As you can see right here, Daniel Voles and Vince Freeze have run down Asher Eveland, Mac Johnson, and Peter Onjak, who is your new leader. And these guys, they're going to have to get, this is probably what they need to do, single file out and try to pull away, but it is not going to work, it looks like. There were some lap cars we saw. Vince Freeze is now in the draft. Daniel Voles and the iRacing Chevrolet is now in the draft. Henry Thomas is in the draft. Vince Freeze went from the top to the bottom. He is going to take the third spot from Asher Eveland. He might get the second spot from Mac Johnson, who led earlier. No, he's not. Johnson's going to pull to the inside. Freeze trying to make any kind of move he can. But up front, it is going to be Mac Johnson leading another lap. Asher Eveland pulls up behind the 5 of Peter Onjak. Up front, Mac Johnson gets some well-needed bonus points. But here comes Vince Freeze in the Flex Tools car. That Fitzwater Australia Racing mobile is pulling up to the lead with Daniel Voles, with Julio Caesar, with KJ Hayes. That's Griffin Label McDermott coming down. Freeze has mounted a charge. He was 4th just a lap ago, and now he's going to go for the lead. Vince Freeze to the inside of Mac Johnson, coming through 3 and 4, and he is going to get it. Your new leader here at Daytona, it is Vince Freeze. The Flex Tools Ford Mustang with Daniel Voles, with KJ Hayes. They're 4 wide again. Hayes almost made contact with Samuel England, is making contact with Julio Caesar. That was a close call. As it's shown, these cars cannot do 4 wide very well in that treacherous tri-oval. Daniel Voles got put 3 wide. Caesar trying to squeeze in up there. Vince Freeze gets away. He has put up a 1-2 car length lead down the back straightaway over Voles. And man, what a run by the Flex Tools car. We saw this in the duels with Julio Caesar, where you could easily get 2 or 3 car lengths out and be able to hold the lead really well. Bolton was not able to do that early on. He had a really good race car, and Bolton, there he is. There's Bolton there. He is back just outside the top 10. Bolton has had to fight and scrape to get back up here after getting trapped behind the 31 car. But Henley is barely making minimum speed, so that's going to keep him in the race. And who knows? And in that situation, all you can hope for are more wrecks or more problems. Especially here at Daytona and Talladega, you can get those pretty easily. Get some cars, pass them. If you're down on power or have damage, if other cars get damaged or crash out, those are free spots for you pretty much. You just have to stay on the track. Meanwhile, we have the top three are single filed out, never mind. KJ Hayes with Julio Cesar pulled to the inside, trying to mount a charge on Vince Freeze. I am impressed with KJ Hayes in that 55 car. They started out in the back with his teammate, that was Chris Martins in the 05, and KJ Hayes has mounted a really good charge through the field and is now up to the second position. Julio Cesar started third, has been able to hold his own position. Daniel Voles, the same situation. Voles started out in the back along with Hayes and Martin as they are 4 wide again. That is Samuel England, the last Spa car to not have damage. And England, I'm sure he wants to try to be as careful as he can, because Lord knows that Exalta Pontiac has shown a lot of speed. He showed a lot of speed in practice. But it is imperative that you keep a car at least to the end of this race. And them going 4 wide is not what you want to do. Another car that has had a lot of speed, that is Logan Cloud, the NOS Energy Ford, the Lake Effect car. Cloud has shown a lot of speed. He had a lot of speed in his dual race. And he had a late race charge get ruined when cars just straight up went around him. They got in a line and went around him in the last few laps. Up front, Caesar pulls to the inside of KJ Hayes. He wants the second position, and that's going to stall out anything KJ Hayes had. Keep Vince Freeze in the lead. Freeze might be able, as long as we go green, to get make a good shot at making a run at Bolton's lap-led bonus. But we have lap cars. Nick Breeding in that 54 car. We have Landon Thomas and Jeffrey Finguy, the 2 cars that started the last wreck up here. And they are going at least considerably faster because they're in a draft, but they are at least 10 miles an hour slower. Let's see what Freeze can do. He goes straight to the bottom. KJ Hayes goes straight to the top. They are splitting. They split Breeding, but they could not get around Landon Thomas and Finguy. But Freeze is able to. Vince Freeze gets away with the lead. KJ Hayes follows him. Hayes had to do a very evasive maneuver, went from the top to the bottom, and he gets around the 92 and the 11. Breeding, and they are blocking all 3 lanes. I don't know why the lap cars are doing that. That is absolutely not what you need to do as a lap car. You need to get out of the way, and that has let the 2 leaders get away. Logan Cloud this is the first car to break free with Justin Henley, Sanford, Lane Sanders, Derek Hamill, Stanley Andrews, Alexander Phoenix, I think, is back there. But this is an absolute disaster for cars like Julio Cesar, for Daniel Voles, Samuel England. They all were up front, and now they have moved straight to the back. Unbelievable. And Vince Freeze and KJ Hayes have got in a draft and are running away from the rest of the field. Logan Cloud is trying to mount a charge with Sanford, Sanders, Henley, Hamill, and Steven Andrews. But they are going to have to do something because they are holding identical speeds to the top 2, and that is absolutely not what you would want to see if you were a Logan Cloud or a Lane Sanders or a Rhodes Gray. You do not want the leaders to pull on to get in a single file line like that. But it looks like they might be pulling on the leaders. They might have gotten a hold of the draft. Charles Sanford's lap down car is trying desperately to get a hold of this draft. You have KJ Hayes. KJ Hayes knows he's got the only way he can get this settled between Vince Freeze and himself is if they stay in a line and run away. But Sanford has 3-4 miles an hour on those 2 leaders. That means Cloud's going to be even faster. So is Sanders and Henley. Phoenix, Alexander Phoenix. That is the third MB2 car. Phoenix has been quiet all day long, but now he is running up in the top 10. Lane Sanders in the Domino's Pontiac is back up here. You have Julio Caesar, Stanley Andrews, in the Wonder Bread Toyota having a really strong run. Asher Evelyn a really strong run in that 99. Daniel Voles is back up here. Derek Hamill in the Coors Light Chevrolet is up here. That was RJ Bishop that just went by. Here's Henry Thomas barely holding on to the draft. And back here, two cars that have led, Mac Johnson and Jeff Bolton. This is an absolute disaster for Jeff Bolton, who was led the most laps so far, but he has lost the draft, it looks like, because of those lap cars. Up front, though, Sanford and Logan Cloud have run the leaders down. Sanford trying to get a lap back, and Logan Cloud trying to go for the second spot. It looks as if they had gotten the draft. Sanford had gotten out front. He had a fast enough car to get up here, and Cloud is going to go underneath him and take the lead. Cloud has Justin Henley, the pole sitter, Alexander Phoenix, and Vince Freeze is all by his lonesome. But look who is back. It is Justin Henley. Henley picked up some speed. They made a pit stop earlier, but they are now going to be in the way again. Let's see what the leaders are able to do. He holds the middle. Vince Freeze blows right past him again. Logan Cloud had to check up because he thought that Henley would block. They are 4 wide behind them. Oh no, there they go. Stanley Andrews sideways. In front of the field, it's Ben McDonald is around. Derek Hamill has damage. Oh no. Mac Johnson made contact. Jeff Bolton. Bolton is in it. The caution flag is out. Unbelievable. Those cars had crashed trying to get around Justin Henley. And this is absolutely not what they wanted to see. RJ Bishop has damage. Samuel England has damage. Henry Thomas. 2 of the strongest cars of the day, the MB2 cars, are damaged. Gutierrez has a piece of it. Mac Johnson got sideswiped. And that is an absolute disaster of a lap. There is the car that started it all. Stanley Andrews got into it, and the caution flag is out. What in the world just happened here? So coming out of turn number 4, is Stanley Andrews, and it looks like, Andrews spun. He got spun. There is Ben McDonald getting sideways, and this would have been probably a 2-car incident had Mac Johnson not sideswiped him. Gutierrez got a piece, as did Jeff Bolton, the fastest car of the day. But coming out of turn number 4, we see Bolton here. Bolton had led. Ooh, Lord. Bolton got a little bit of air there. Mac Johnson, I don't think they expected Ben McDonald to come back on the racetrack like that. And they just absolutely sideswiped the number 16 gear wrench Chevrolet. Or Toyota, excuse me, and that was an absolute disaster for several of these race cars. Running on board with the 75, that was Julio Caesar. You saw how tight it was right there, and it might have been they just ran out of room at that point going into the tri-oval, and they just all squeezed into each other. Riding on board with Ben McDonald and gear wrench Toyota, you see. So RJ Bishop got his damage. He just saved it. I don't think they expected him to come back on the racetrack. I think Ben McDonald was it was just a really bad series of events that just ultimately got a lot of cars, a lot of damage. Caution is out here on lap number 35. We'll be right back after this.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
Welcome back to Daytona. We are coming back to the green flag after several cars got into it on the front straightaway. And as we come back to the green, what is that? That is Griffin Label McDermott on the apron. McDermott has an engine going south. What an absolute shame for the last Finn Guy car, but we're going back green. And Vince Freeze has taken the green flag. Justin Henley was the first car lap down because he didn't pit. Henley is going to absolutely be a roadblock to some of these race cars. But already we have Vince Freeze, we have Rhodes Gray. Asher Evelyn's gotten around, so has Charles Sanford, the lap down car. We have Alexander Phoenix is going to be your 4th place. KJ Hayes. But this is an absolute disaster as everybody's going to trip over Justin Henley trying to get around him. There's Vargas. There's a Revolution Racing car. Henley is going to let his teammate, that's James Ellison, in the 3 by. That is Christian Vargas, the Revolution Racing car. One of them, he is going to go to the outside of Henley. You have Peter Onjak, that's Chris Martin's in the 05. That's the 55's teammate. But they are having an absolute disaster. They're also having a problem getting around Nick Breeding in that car. In that number 54, Breeding at Starcom Enterprises car. It is a minefield here at Daytona on these restarts. See, that's Austin Scott. He got in the fence earlier. He is rebounding. Nicky Martinez had some damage in that first caution. So did Taylor Frey. Lane Sanders is getting underneath with Evan Morisi. But this has spread the pack out significantly. And up front, Alexander Phoenix has made a charge from 4th to 2nd. Phoenix in the Exo Tiger Pontiac, he is the last of the MB2 cars that are left. After the other 2, that was Henry Thomas in the 36, that was Jeff Bolton in the 10. They were involved in that last caution. Up front, Vince Freeze, though, has gapped the field again. That is probably a 2-3 car length lead here coming down into turn number 1. Lap 47 now. We are coming to 14 laps to go next time by. Sorry, we're coming to 40. We're coming to 13 laps to go next time by. But this is probably going to be the field to finish the race. You have Vince Freeze, you have Alexander Phoenix, you have Asher Eveland, Rhodes Gray, KJ Hayes, Charles Danvers a lap down, you have Daniel Voles, you have James Ellison in the 3, we have Julio Cesar in the 75, and barely in this draft, Angel Gutierrez, Peter Onjak, barely even more in the draft, you have Chris Martins, Austin Scott, Nicky Martinez, Lane Sanders, J.D. Martin, Stephen Andrews. You have a long list of cars that are fighting to stay in this pack. But up front, it is now Alexander Phoenix showing his muscle, trying to run down Vince Freeze. But that Flex Tools Ford Mustang has been really, really strong here. And it would not surprise me if Freeze is able to hold on here at the end and win the race. But Phoenix is now single file with him. So is KJ Hayes, the 55. What a strong run for that team. That Dodge Charger is fast. Daniel Voles in the 44 is somehow back up here after going to the front, getting stuck behind lap cars, going to the back, coming back to the front, going to the back again, and now is back up in the 4th position. He is trying to make a strong run here after starting in the rear. So is KJ Hayes. Hayes is to the inside of the 62 Exo Tiger Pontiac. He is going to even get to Vince Freeze's back bumper. Freeze throws the block coming down the back straightaway. This is an absolute mess coming down the back straightaway. The top 5 have separated themselves. That's Caesar, Ellison, Evelyn, Peter Onjak. That is the 30 of Rhodes Gray, and Ben McDonald in the 16, the lap car. Probably the best bet if you needed to get help up here is your 2 Crossroads cars, the 3 and the 30. Their teammate, the 31, is down a cylinder. Apparently, they've gone down another cylinder. They are trying desperately. There is James Ellison in the 30, the Operation Lightsaber car, trying to make something out of this day. His teammate, Rhodes Gray, was the pole sitter, trying to get something good out of this. And they are 4 wide down the back straight. Oh, contact! There they go. Several cars sideways. That's Voles. Onjak's in it. Charles Sanford sideways. That is KJ Hayes. Hayes coming back on the track. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh, no. Ryan Griffin got hit by Onjak. They couldn't stop in time. The caution is out. Several cars sliding and slamming into each other. Back to the line. Zachary Fitzwater had issues as well. Vince Freeze's teammate is going to take the caution flag with Julio Cesar. James Ellison got through in 3rd. Lane Sanders in the 01 got through. So did J.D. Martin. Asher Evelyn got around it. Austin Scott got a piece, I think. So did Chris Martins. Rhodes Gray got through in 9th, and Stephen Andrews is through it in the 10th position. Who else made it through? Maurice C., Stephen Colin, 2 teammates. Their teammate, the 44, was in it. Taylor Frey coming around here. I think he made it through. So did Derek Hamill. Ryan Reed, the other Little Falls Motorsports car, I think got through. There is Dunn LaPrade. Henley's slow car is there. The caution is out. An unbelievable mess here on the back straightaway with 10 laps to go. We're going to see what happened here. So coming down the back straightaway, it looked like Alexander Phoenix moved to go around KJ Hayes, and man, they all ran out of room. You see Peter Onjak there got a piece of it. And up front, it looks like they were sliding. Charles Sanford was sliding, and you see Ryan Griffin and Christian Vargas could not slow down in time. Those cars got a piece of it. What an absolute shame on their part. Let's take another look at it. Yeah, just KJ Hayes got in the Charles Sanford. You saw, oh, Rhodes Gray almost got through, got clipped at a 360 and kept on going. KJ Hayes almost slid up in the traffic, and Martinez, he had gotten through and then hit Charles Sanford. What an absolute shame. Peter Onjak has heavy front end damage to that car. That car is likely done. What a shame, because that car was such a fast race car. Riding on board with Peter Onjak, his luck runs out on the back straightaway. Oh, what a hit. That McDonald caught him at the very end. There's Gutierrez. Oh, my Lord, Nicky Martinez. Onjak almost got several hits, but it looked like he almost got hit several more times. So that could have been an even worse wreck than it actually was. On board with Rhodes Gray, the pole sitter, the McNallister's Deli Chevrolet. You see there, the 30 got in, and he looks like he made it through. Not quite. Did a 360 and kept on going. So caution is out here at Daytona. Vince Freeze is your leader. We currently have 9 laps to go. You got Vince Freeze, Julio Caesar is second. Ben McDonald's a lap down at 38th, but you have James Ellison, Lane Sanders, J.D. Martin rounds out your top 5. Asher Evelyn is 6th. Austin Scott is 7th. Chris Martin's, Hayes' teammate, is 8th. Rhodes Gray, after his 360, is 9th, and Steven Andrews narrowly escaped that to get a top 10. 9 laps to go here at Daytona. We will be right back after this break, and we will be here with the green flag.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
7 laps to go here at Daytona. The final 7 laps of the race. Coming back to the green flag this time by the pace cars about to pull in. Who will win the first round of the Right Lane Cup Series? Will it be Freeze? Will it be Caesar? Will it be Ellison? Will it be Lane Sanders? Will it be J.D. Martin? Who knows? The green flag is back out. 6 laps of racing to go here at Daytona. Freeze gets away very well. The leaders having a really good start as they begin to fan out coming into turn number 1. Lane Sanders the first to make a 3-wide move to the inside going into turn number 1. The leaders, Caesar and Vince Freeze, pull 2-3 car lengths on the 3 and the 01 as they come down to the back straightaway. As we see the field fly by here, Freeze and Caesar side by side. They have pulled. These top 4 have pulled on the rest of the field. Asher Evelyn gets through. So does Rhodes Gray. Angel Gutierrez. Chris Martins gets through. So does Jeff Bolton. Bolton's battered and beaten race car is somehow back in the top 10. Stephen Colin, the Culver Chevrolet, is here as well. Unbelievable. Bolton might be able to salvage something out of this race after all. But up front, it is your top 5 in a draft. Lane Sanders trying to get up to the top 2. He has 3 mile an hour, 4 mile an hour on the leaders. Sanders, here he comes. He moves to the inside. Sanders pulls to the inside. He's going to try to make the move himself. What can Sanders do? But he has no help whatsoever. Sanders, he's going to get second place. Asher Evelyn gets fourth from Ellison. Sanders almost to the back bumper of Vince Freeze. Now the leaders trying to single file out again. 4 laps to go. Sanders gets in front of Caesar. This could be the move for the race. Lane Sanders trying to win. Evelyn to his quarter panel, that was going to slow him up. James Ellison goes around Caesar. It's 2 wide behind the leader of Vince Freeze. He is pulling 2-3 car lengths again. Ellison trying to go 3 wide. This is absolutely what Vince Freeze wants to see. This is not what Lane Sanders wants to see. He needs organization if he's going to build a run and run down Vince Freeze. Coming around, they're going to have 3 laps to go. It is the top 5 that is going to settle this race. Freeze, Sanders, Evelyn, Ellison, and Caesar. Austin Scott is back here trying to build a run with Chris Martins, Rhodes Gray, Stephen Colon, and Angel Gutierrez. And Ryan Reed is here as well. This is the field that is going to fight for the finish. They're side by side again. Lane Sanders. Sanders pulls to the inside of Freeze, but he has absolutely no help. Asher Evelyn could decide this race. Where is Evelyn going to go? Will Evelyn help Sanders or stay with Vince Freeze? Sanders losing all his momentum going into number 3. Evelyn will go to the outside. He is going to push. Asher Evelyn is going to push. Vince Freeze away from Lane Sanders. This is an absolute disaster. Sanders had set up the move but had no help to do it. Freeze now covers Sanders. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Vince Freeze has now led the most laps of the race. It will get the bonus point, the 2 extra bonus points no matter what. The top 4, single file. Here comes Caesar. Julio Caesar, the dual 1 winner, strong race car, had done the same thing Freeze had done. He is back on the scene. Sanders trying to block as many cars as he can. Here, now Chris Martins is on the scene. Here in the 05, Austin Scott's here. Stephen Colon is here. So is Stanley Andrews. The field is about 9 cars strong, coming back to the white flag. But it is all Vince Freeze in the number 9 Flex Tools Mustang. For Fitzwater Australia Racing, white flag is out. 1 lap to go as Freeze is 3 car lengths ahead of the leaders. There is Mac Johnson's car, damaged, coming off a pit road. Coming down through 1 and 2 for the final time. Vince Freeze has 2, 3, 4 car lengths on the leaders. Evelyn and Sanders are together on the outside. It's Caesar on the bottom with Chris Martins, trying to build a run, desperately trying to build a run. They have more speed. They are building momentum on Vince Freeze. What's going to happen coming to 3 and 4 for the final time? Can Evelyn win this race? There's a lap car. That's Mitchell Carter. Will they all get around them? Carter stays on the apron, squeezed by Caesar. It's not going to be enough. Vince Freeze is your first ever Right Lane Cup Series winner. Freeze wins at Daytona. Evelyn second. Lane Sanders third. A dead heat for 4th. It will go to Julio Caesar. James Ellison gets 5th. Chris Martins gets 6th. Stephen Colon will get 7th. Stanley Andrews 8th. Austin Scott gets 9th. And Ryan Reed will round out a clean week with a 10th place finish. But absolute congratulations will go to Vince Freeze and that Fitzwater Australia team. They are absolutely ecstatic. Freeze had a dominant performance here at Daytona, something you don't often see. And he was able to hold. I was shocked that he was able to hold off Evelyn and Sanders as they got nose to tail coming through the tri-oval. Freeze pulling down pit road, heading to victory lane. What an absolute joyous occasion here at Daytona. The first round of the Right Lane Cup Series is complete. Congratulations to Vince Freeze and the number 9 team. And we'll get you your finishing results here in a second.